Hello and welcome to the Lockhart Radio Podcast. We are a little bit early right now, but I just wanted to get with you and let you know what you see on the screen there. A newly classified document suggests that George Soros' Open Society Foundation was involved in the effort by Hillary Clinton campaign in 2016 to falsely accuse then candidate Donald Trump of ties to Russia. The document, a 29-page annex to John Durham's 2023 special counsel report, was released by the Senate Judiciary Committee today, Thursday, the 31st of July, 2025, shortly after it was declassified. It sheds more light on what Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, the Republican out of Iowa, had to say, and he describes it as being one of the, quote, biggest political scandals and cover-ups in American history. Based on the Durham Annex, the Obama FBI failed to adequately reveal to investigate intelligence reports showing that the Clinton campaign may have been ginning up fake Trump-Russia narrative for a while for the Clintons' political gain. These intelligence reports and related records, whether true or false, were buried for years, Grassley said in a statement. The annex cites several emails allegedly sent by Leonard Bernardo, the vice president of the Open Societies Foundation, throughout July 2016, which provide details on the Clinton campaign's plan to falsely accuse Trump of Russia links and tie him to the alleged Democratic National Committee hack. Analysis by Durham, his team, conclude that Bernardo's emails were, quote, likely authentic, the annex states. Here's another quote. During the first stage of the campaign, due to a lack of direct evidence, it was decided to disseminate the necessary information through the FBI-affiliated attack-based technical structures. Now, in particular, the CrowdStrike as well as the Threat Connect companies, from where the information would then be disseminated through leading United States publications. One of the emails read. Another email purportedly sent by Bernardo states that the media analysis on the DNC hacking appears to be solid and suggests that later the FBI will put more oil onto the fire, apparently predicting the probe by the agency. It also cites an individual named Julie, identified in the annex as Clinton's foreign policy advisor, Julian Smith, who said the future Russiagate, quote, will be a long-term affair to demonize Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump, closed quote. Now, this information is what a lot of people know and have heard in the past or suspected in the past. But at this very moment, these are the things that we know for sure, that it was put together. And that, to me, is the smoking gun, right? The smoking gun is the fact that you can now point to Soros, which I don't think any of us were surprised about. You can point to Soros. You can point to the Clintons, which is basically what we knew. And that's what we were saying the other day when we mentioned, hey, Obama didn't move alone. Don't forget whose time it was to run. So he didn't move alone. I think that was possibly part of the shock during the 2016 election. That was the shock, that everybody was alarmed that he won. That was on the DNC side, because according to what you're seeing now, they pulled out every stop possible. Every stop possible is what they utilized. For those of you who are coming in, I see that the numbers have gone up just a bit. So I'm going to reread what I have for you today in case you don't already know, or you do know, or you've not heard it. A newly unclassified document does suggest that George Soros' Open Society Foundation was involved in the effort by the Hillary Clinton campaign in 2016 to falsely accuse then candidate Donald Trump of ties to Russia. The document is a 29-page annex to John Durham's 2023 special counsel report, and it was actually released today by the Senate Judiciary Committee, the 31st of July, 2025. It was shortly after it was declassified. It sheds more light on what Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley described as one of the biggest political scandals and cover-up in American history. Based on the Durham Annex, Obama's FBI failed to adequately review and investigate intelligence reports showing that the Clinton campaign may have been ginning up fake Russia narratives for Clinton's political gain. The intelligence reports and related records, whether true or false, were buried for years, Grassley said in a statement. The annex cites several emails allegedly sent by Leonard Bernardo, vice president of Open Society Foundation, throughout July of 2016. So this thing is now 9 years old. 9 years old. Wow. And it will provide details on the Clinton campaign plans to falsely accuse Trump of Russia links and tie him to the alleged Democratic National Committee, or DNC, hack. Analysis by the Durham team conclude the Bernardo emails were likely authentic, the annex states. During the first stage of the campaign, due to lack of direct evidence, it was decided to disseminate the necessary information through the FBI-affiliated attic-based technical structures. So that means that what they were doing in particular, they were taking the information and they were dropping it in little bitty leaks, all right, through CrowdStrike and Threat Connect companies, from where the information then would be disseminated through U.S. publications, leading U.S. publications. One of the emails read. Now, another email purportedly sent by Bernardo states that the media analysis on the DNC hacking appears to be solid, meaning their plans was working. And it also suggests, quote, later the FBI will put more oil on the fire, close quote. This was apparently predicting the probe by the agency. And it also cites the individual named Julie, which if you look at it, according to what the annex says, is foreign policy advisor belonging to Clinton, Julian Smith, who said the future Russiagate will, quote, be a long-term affair to demonize Russian President Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. Think about that. That's the problem. That is the issue. That, my friends, is what should be investigated. Okay? All right? That is what needs to be looked at. Do me a favor. If you're here and you're watching, please hit the thumbs up so that way this can get out to more people. Right now, we only have 10 folks here hanging out with us, and I do appreciate you all. I know that it's a busy time, but this is really important that we share this information and get it out. And the way that we can do that here on the Lockhart Radio podcast is to make sure that as you're coming in, that you're hitting that like button, and that if you're making comments here in the chat, that also helps. Even if you just say hello, that also helps to get this out, because to me, this is the bigger, meatier matter. This is the meat, because if you remember during that time frame, who was very close to Mr. Soros was the president's daughter's husband. They had a business together. Yes. Okay, Tonette, there you go. Thank you so very much. 10 years possibly. Now, not much surprises me anymore. Absolutely. Yes. Hello, Tony. Thank you so much for that. Troy. Thank you, Troy, for that. Thank you so much. Yes, these are the things that are important. See, this is what I'm talking about. Getting down to the meat and potatoes of it. Who can you put on a new list to kick out the United States? This man is wanted all over the place, including Russia. And I find it very curious that we don't see President Trump's daughter anymore, but her husband is very closely linked to George Soros. Now, I'm not saying anything that's not known. I'm saying what is known, what is public. They had a business together. So I found it curious when he was, rubbing elbows with him during that first time frame. You had him right there. His son is constantly everywhere, all over the United States. He's at every big shindig that goes on in Washington. These are the kinds of things that we need to unfold. And these are the kind of individuals that need to be ousted from the United States and not allowed to come back in. And we need to get new people in there in our government that's going to stand up for what is right. I really have said this before, but as far as I am concerned, every single congressman, every senator, everybody that goes to work at Washington from the state level and goes up there to Washington needs to be paid at best $38,000 a year and not be allowed to do any lobbying for anyone. If anybody's money goes above that and it's not because their spouse is working, we need to make sure that we're watching their funds. Don't watch our money, watch their money. No insider trading, no purchasing of anything. I don't want you to even buy stock in Q-tips, nothing. because these are the types of things that go on now. That's open society, and we know who that is. We know that that is his organization, and yet we're still allowing these things here in the United States. I don't know why we pretend to be so coy, and by we, I mean our government, not us, because we're already waiting for the shoe to fall, right? So that's what this is about. We're going to come back with the rest of the stories because that was supposed to be our afternoon news brief. I'm going to let you guys sit with this for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get off, and we'll come back later today and deal with the rest of the topics for our afternoon news brief. But I just want that to sit there for you. Just sit there with that. Think about that. The fact that we all knew this and now it's coming out. We all knew it. That's the part that makes me upset. The fact that you have this little rogue guy floating all around the United States doing his bidding and no one says anything. For Headlines with a Voice, I am Felicia Lockhart.